Take a look at the maps and modes. The first two maps are like test outs for both teams. Like LAT, they haven't played it since stage 1. Atlanta, they played it a couple times here, took a tough loss versus Vancouver. But you just want to try to extend the map pool if you're Atlanta, because Protocol out the mix, that was your best HP. You need to add another one to make your hardpoint game somewhat compatible with this kind of roster. And then also with the dealership search and destroy, trying to extend their map pool on both ends. That one should be a fun one, but the last 3 maps are absolute square ups. This should be a banger, and I'm going to be devastated if it doesn't at least go 5.
well, at least go 5. At most, it would go 5. Let's see what we got. Atlanta FaZe, LA Thieves, #1 and #2 in the league. They've avoided each other for so long, but this match, unavoidable. Let's get it on as Atlanta looking solid in their opener. And I will say, you kind of mentioned the Protocol hardpoint being out of the mix is a soft spot for Atlanta's hardpoint, you would think. But that told, even when this map was in the pool, Atlanta did give Thieves their first loss on this map, 244-250.
Oh yeah, a 6-point game. Celium had an insane play to break them down at the end of that hard point, but that was 4 months ago. Now we got to try to continue to do that here, and at least if you're Atlanta FaZe, you soak up 16 seconds off of that P1, but now the battle for the P2 spawns with Sip hitting this long route needs to work.
Yep, and it will. Catches Ghosty for 1, also backs up Envoy, who's there to meet him very nicely. So we open up towards P2. Atlanta trying to run through Burger Street, and an off spawn for Hydra will have him kind of choosing to make a decision on how he wants to play this cutoff. And with those eliminations coming through, he's just going to sit his ground, wait a little bit longer. He knows his teammates are going to have to spawn, but Atlanta respond nicely. And even though Thieves have the setup that they want, they're still not able to get into the time until right now.
Yeah, they just wanted to stabilize around the back end. Okay, now that our spawn is cleared out, we can put all our focus towards the front. Thieves take the lead by a slight margin, but there's still a lot of time to fight for here at P2. How do Atlanta decide to set up on their break? Celium from the front finds the opening. Draza slides through the side door. It's already 3 dead. Hydra, last man standing on this side. Yeah, he's just playing for kills at this point.
Yeah, and again, just kind of reflecting off of how Atlanta played this map versus Vancouver yesterday. Really tight battle, just a couple of swing moments, a couple of 1v1s that go Vancouver's way that really just kind of bounce Atlanta out of some of their setups. But so far, so good for FaZe in terms of how they've been able to break in towards P2. And now with them easy, working on rotation back towards 3. There's a chance, yeah, with the cutoff man happening from Draza at mid, that Atlanta could actually win the foot race over to New.
Oh yeah, this is massive because Atlanta versus Vancouver could not find success from this P3 to P4 chain, and we know how impactful it is to get both of those hard points on your side because you can blow the game wide open. Atlanta effective trades through the middle of the map, still holding on to the HP, still have the spawns that they want, but Hydra trying to contest early on through midcourt.
Yeah, Draza turning up here 10-4, selling him off of a 7 spree. I know Ant is looking right at Alley's direction in the green room saying, "You picked Cell or
yeah,
Ghosty over Cell? You're crazy for that." Yeah. Cell able to have another 3-piece here, 61-29. And Abizi trying to open up some space through Burger, not quite able to do it. Maybe a chance here for Thieves to contest lane.
Yeah, they can contest it, but there's still the battle for the spawns. You can see how safe Atlanta are playing it. Celium plays it way too safe that he actually falls out the map, and that might come back to bite you because spawns now get a little split, but thankfully Abizi's able to line up 1 kill at the right time. 2 players spawn right next to you. Atlanta FaZe is still able to hold on to the spawns for this money hill at P4.
Yeah, there just is an AR difference right now. I mean, it's easy to point to when you're looking at a combined 27-10 for the ARs of Atlanta FaZe. Right on the other side, Ghosty just 5-11, Scrap serviceable at 9-8, but it's just all these long-range battles that keep opening up in favor of Atlanta has their SMGs running wild over the Thieves at the moment. 87-39, opportunity here for Thieves to try to break things open, but Abizi slip and slide and try to kill some time as Scrap comes in for the contest. But no, there is no trade. There's something to say. Simp was right there, but not able to find the kill, and now it's on the Cell, and he's gonna get crossed up. Nice moment here for Thieves.
Yeah, you're still here though. If you're Atlanta, you just need to win a gunfight through the middle side of the street, but every single player from the Thieves will want an extra AR because those are the preferred weapons here at the P4 money hill. You're able to find a break, keep yourself into this game. Atlanta FaZe versus Vancouver, though, this P5 was their go-to. Abizi is just so hard to keep track of in this generator side. They have the full setup, and they also find the initial kill.
Well, follow-up gunfights turning in favor of Atlanta. Only 1 to tally for LA, and that's really on just Ghosty, just holding a position. Can't do too much with this over the top of the New Hill. Draza, though, will fall. Opportunity now starting to brew for Thieves, and they're trying to work from both sides at the same time. And it's working out pretty nicely to this moment. Abizi, last one really standing. He's got to have a little bit of help from Selling, but he's just rocked with a pistol. Might be good enough. And it is a double from Cell. 21-7, 3 in a row. Trophy system down. FaZe running it up.
Oh yeah, this is looking dominant so far from Atlanta, a team who's been phenomenal in rotations basically the entire year. You throw them on a map like Rewind to where if you're winning rotations, you're gonna stand a pretty good chance at dominating all of these hard points. You're currently up by 70. Atlanta, no, we have this in the bag. Let's step aside and go to listening with the boys in red.
Oh, that's oh, dead. Nice. I'm blocking. One shot street. Go running through diner. Three street. Yeah, street. Nice. I'm holding court. Street. I listen. They're all handhill from mid. One's running right. They're all hill. Nice. More mid door.
Mid door 10. We can time.
Go there. One shot close mid on you. Nice. Mid door still.
Weak trap Blue.
Wrap here left. Right side. Two there. I got right.
Oh, what she will loot?
Yeah,
I don't know the stage thing.
I spawned here.
I have left. Stage comp.
Help
I
right.
stunned in blue. Blue scrap.
Left.
One shot in his scrap.
Yeah, blue. Last two. They're gonna spawn on hill probably. It's fine, dumpster probably.
They might be.
Yeah. I 30 at a time.
Try.
In the back, dead.
One shot done.
Blue should be spawning out. Part of the back, radio. Back radio. Going back.
One shot dead. Nice. I see first.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go
I'm one shot. I'm hitting the right side.
Just running in front of you.
Deep right, MC. One shot deep right. He wanted to deep right. Hey, what's me on you?
Hold me. I'm trying to shoot.
Let's get mid first.
I'm sick right now. Okay, ready? I'm shooting now.
Holy beatdown. Cell is Mr. Untradeable right now. 32 and 12, calling in the Hellstorm. Able to get scrap out of the new time, and it's just Atlanta from start to finish, top to bottom.
Yeah, Ghosty over this guy. You are insane, Big Al. 35 and 13. Celium is dictating how this game is going to be played, and most likely what the ending score is going to look like. You breached that 200-point mark. Finally, Thieves are here to breach the 100-point mark, but just the entire map so far, they have been playing from the back foot. They finally have themselves a moment where they can stabilize, win the rotation over towards P4 to sort of get themselves back into this game.
Yeah, look at this call right here for Atlanta. An early chalk and rotate decision here over towards Gens, showing you the importance of trying to get into this hard point first. Sell the one, trying to make sure no one rotates through mid-street, and eventually Atlanta able to clean things up and also find a little bit of scrap time. So it's just catching Thieves through the middle of the map. And now BZ scaling forward. Oh boy, trying to get across. No, not quite able to get all the way there though. LA holding on from the back looks nice. Cell trying to just open up space over through the backside of Dumpster, and Hydra's in his way. Nade pushes him out, but Scrap's there for help. And okay, LA starting to heat up a little bit.
Yeah, they're starting to heat up, but the pressure through the mid-map might be too much. At least Envoy is able to take care of Abizi. I thought Abizi got the jump on him, but thankfully Draws is there to find trades. Now, how do the spawns get a little bit mixy? Thankfully, Scrap is able to find the kill for both of his teammates. The still spawn right next to this HB, but you leave it opening, and Mr. Chris Slayer, who is everywhere, is able to find 3 spawns flip, and Atlanta could still win here.
It's just wild to see how this map has been just dominated by ARs, and then the moment you need an SMG to show up, take care of some damage and just create some pressure on the pinch, there's Simp with 3. Looks like it may be game over right here unless LA can find kills from inside the hard point. And no, I just don't even think they're going to get there in time. Draws and taking care of one. Envoy not going to get there to touch, and that is a slammage by Atlanta in map 1.
Oh, and I'm telling you right now, that's a map that you probably don't want to play them on ever again. because for a team who has been basically the best rotation team throughout the entire season, even with all of their struggles in hardpoint, you win rotations on rewind, you're going to stand a pretty good chance of setting up properly and dominating the game. You're consistently playing from the back foot, though, if you are the Thieves. Not winning rotos, you're fighting gunfights that are a lot tougher. When you go from that P3 to P4 chain and your ARs need to challenge these gunfights to the middle of the street, yeah, you're wide in the open. Atlanta got cars, they got head glitches, they got everything that they want because they set themselves up for it. For a squad who has been struggling recently in HP, was on a 4-game losing streak, that was a totally different beast there in map 1.
Yeah, it really was. And just look at the numbers from Cell. 39 and 17, 32 non-traded, 15 in the objective, and a minute 33 tallied in the hill. Not top damage. That actually goes over to Draza with 10 assists. That is able to help him out at 28 and 21. But still, the fact of the matter is that was just AR dominance. And I like, it just kind of reminds me of, like, this is a weird throwback, but it kind of reminds me how Atlanta used to play Bacage back in the day in Vanguard, where they pulled out 3 ARs to certain hills and just locked down lanes. Same situation here. Just don't allow Thieves to rotate ever, because you're never able to hold on to the outer backside street or over towards Burger Alley.
Yeah, it's just because these gunfights, you prefer an AR. Like, it's as simple as that. These gunfights are long distance. You got head glitches, and then when you're winning every single rotation, the guys are going to run right in front of you. So it's a whole lot easier to whip out that extra AR. Maybe 4 at times to dominate some of these hills on rewind. But for a squad in Atlanta, like I said, I've been struggling in hardpoint, trying to expand their map pool in this game mode, and they might have just found the perfect map for them.
Yeah. You got to keep in mind this head-to-head battle between these two teams, as much as the rivalry has been built up by the narrative of the trash talk largely, it has been Atlanta who have owned the edge in this matchup, 3-1 against them. Again, the series have been tremendously close, including a couple of map 5s and that, of course, that map 7 affair back at Major 1 Grand Finals. But this hardpoint game flow has been one of the most convincing that we've seen between these two, up until, I think, when Thieves, when they first played, like, smoked Atlanta on a vault hardpoint. But outside of that, this has been a tremendously tight battle, but anything but that occurring here in map number 1 as we look towards Dealership, Jay.
Oh yeah, Dealership should be a fun one. Another map where both squads want to add it to their map pool. It's a 1-2 record for Atlanta, a 3-2 record for LA. LA have a lot more of dominant wins on this map. Clean 6-0, 6-1s at times. Their SMGs continuously are getting lost. The one mishap that they had at the major is when they were just getting caught. Like, it's as simple as that. Island players getting too aggressive in certain angles. You decide to run it back the same exact maps when you played Vancouver again, and were able to make the proper adjustments. But versus Atlanta FaZe, and also an Atlanta FaZe who starts up 1-0 in the series, you best believe they're going to be running at you with the utmost confidence here on Dealership.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, like, Atlanta Search and Destroy has really, I think, been a staple of them in tight series versus great teams.
Always.
That's been the case. I think, you know, when you look at this matchup in particular, obviously you reflect back on all 3 Search and Destroys in that best of 7 going the way of Atlanta. But even when they've played up against teams like Vancouver, for instance, the reason they win those series are because of what they do in the Search and Destroy. So I think the other thing about this matchup is kind of giving an edge to LA in the control. Atlanta has to be good in search. Like, you just have to. And I think that's the thing that's really kind of carried them over the edge of this squad throughout the entirety of the year, because you look at the head-to-head and, you know, it's 5-3 is the current tally in searches, but, you know, those have, again, been map 5, map 7 affairs.
Yeah, and if you're Atlanta, you talk about Search and Destroy with this kind of roster, they have been probably the best Search and Destroy trio for like 6 years now before adding Jaws into the lineup. They are never worried about the S&D game mode. You might come out lackluster, but once those mid-round adjustments start to come on in, they know how to read the map pretty damn well. But if you're Atlanta, the adjustments that you need to make now on Dealership is to try to find some success at this A site. They're one of the only teams that we have in the CDO who have more success at B and barely any success at A, when the teams that are dominant on Dealership find a lot of success at the A sites, are able to withstand all the car bombs, the RCs, whatever the hell is getting thrown at you on that side of the map. Atlanta need to figure it out on their attacks if they want to add this tremendously to their map pool. When you take a look at the standings, these guys are head-to-head. The two best teams that we have in the game, 10 points separating them both.
Yeah, our only 2 champions that we've had to this point, whether that be minors or majors. But again, they've eluded each other in a lot of those runs. successfully since back in Major 1. And
Yeah.
it does feel like an inevitability that these two teams will meet. But when you've got teams like Vancouver and Toronto and now Miami that are playing really well, it's not a guarantee. So, you know, this may be one of the last times we get a chance to see these teams squad up and play up against one another. And that's the interesting thing is, like, you look at number 1, number 2 in the standings. This is a qualifier match, and you think these guys are locked for playoffs. There's not much that really separates them. How much do you really put into this? But I think the rivalry being one part, but also just wanting to put yourself in the best position possible to be in the winner's bracket for Major 4 is huge for both these two squads, especially considering the results of this weekend to this point.
Oh yeah, thankfully Atlanta were able to walk away with their dub versus Vancouver. LAT trying to respond off of their tough L versus Miami. You don't want to be 0-2. You'd rather be stuck at 1-1. Last 5 search and destroys for Atlanta FaZe. Even though a lot of them have went the distance. I feel like every time we watch Atlanta, they can go down 5-2. You can go down 5-3. But they're always forcing round 11 just because how good they are in this mode. But already into the dealership, LA Thieves on the attack. No trophy system, so we're taking a slow approach.
Well, Envoy's actually going to just toss his nades and say, well, no one's here. Let me get some space taken away. Sell for first blood, though, onto Scrap. That's at mid. Abizi just holding, maybe waiting for an opportunity to pinch, and Simp is just playing for contact that A. I don't think he's actually seen how far forward Envoy's gotten, though. So this could be, yeah, something that Envoy and the rest of LA Thieves could really use to their advantage, trying to break up this post-plant retake, and there's the first blood already coming through. No second, though, and now it's just on to Ghosty.
Yeah, Ghosty left in a 1v3. Atlanta with the numbers just swarm their way back into the play. Even when we thought Envoy had the jump on him, Simp doesn't fully commit on that long route. He was just waiting to get somewhat close to his teammates before they start to engage any gunfights. Everyone in the right position to find the trades off of the back of that first blood. Atlanta FaZe first on the map, secure the round.
I like the idea, though, from Thieves. And it is kind of looking at how they've played this map, LA. You know, I thought it was very revealing when they played it against Miami initially. And I was sitting there like, wow, because I remember at the Major, I was really impressed with how Miami played this map. But Thieves 6-0'd them. And I was like, oh, okay, never mind. But then a couple of the tight affairs, well, really the one tight affair versus Vancouver has things kind of looking to see how LA are going to modify after they had lost one of the 2 matches on this map. 1-6 tally. Opening contact through mid, not going to come through. Nade cooked. Abizi will find some damage, but can't push out. It's Simp instead, who finds first blood again on the Scrap.
Oh, you just give up mid-map control on Atlanta FaZe. Once Abizi just cracks the door open, realize, okay, there's nobody here. We can work this objective over towards B, and now you'll also find the first blood to go with it. So man advantage. Gonna put this bomb down. You got Cellium watching everything on the flank angle. But Envoy is potentially gonna try to line one up for free until his teammates get into play.
The thing is, this double setup here for FaZe on this post plan is made safe by Simp still watching mid-map and Cell watching the long pinch, so you've got an SMG setup here, but nice nades through mid. Can't stop that. And now here comes Envoy, trying to move forward, not going to be able to. Cellium also deals with one over through the middle of the map. Ghosty tagged up from both sides, and he's just going to be played with here. Has to make a move, and is going to have to make it quickly. Sees Draza on the exit. This is a good call to try to hop it. Draza, though, I believe has seen it, and that's an easy follow-up for him with a little bit extra at the end.
Oh, perfect game plan again from Atlanta. Take mid-map away, take the first blood, realize there's no one pushed out towards court. Just plant the bomb immediately at the B site. That's where we find the most success here on dealership. But the day spot from LAT to potentially break their way back in was beautiful.
Yeah.
You find that opening kill onto a BZ, even though you're not able to find the trades after that. I know for teams that struggle on retakes at that B site, that's something you're definitely going to jot down into your notebook. We need to steal that.
Yeah, the thing about that is, again, like, the nade kill is good, but I just don't think you expect there to be 2 players on top of that bomb still. Plus, you still have Cell or Simp rather holding a very passive angle through mid to make sure that cross is still made safe. So 2-0 up. Thieves quickly back to A. Gonna get a free plant. This has been voluntarily elected to be given away by FaZe, though. Looking to play for retake. Nades over the top, starting to come through. Cars blowing up. Hydra, though, still alive, but does get blooded. Draza actually takes that into a second. And the follow-up. Draza for 3. You know he wants the last one, and he will! With a lot extra, I'm sure, after that point. The full ace and 6 in a row for Draza.
And I love the way that Atlanta are playing this. It's 2 times now on defense where they're just like, you guys can take A. We have no problem playing for the retake. It works out to their favor because they keep all the stuns and their nades in the back pocket. You shoot the trophy systems out. You get some damage in with the tax, send in everyone because you know everyone else is weak. And then Draza, the CEO, Able to line up the ace there and lick his fingers because that's just way too easy there for the king.
You know he's coming. Give me this last one. He knows it's scrap. What a start here for Atlanta. They dominate the opening hard point, and they're flawless thus far through 3 rounds in the search and destroy, with the RC already earned. Hellstorm close for draws. And a little bit of a split of the map here for Atlanta. Going to take a patient approach on this 4th round attack.
Yeah, just going to slow it down. Allow the thieves to essentially try to take some space away. But now we're going to invest the RC car. Information gained that they are aggressive up in through courtyard. So how do they react off of this? You're actually going to get aggressive if you are LA. Scrap finds the first blood.
But Draza in a little bit of trouble, but is able to sneak away, keep his life. Cell trades out Abizi over through mid-map, but the 2 ARs for FaZe pretty remote right now as they don't have a bomb to work with in this 2v3.
Yeah, I think if you're Draza, though, you're most likely just playing your life here. We're really close to earning yourself that Hellstorm.
Absolutely.
We know how impactful that can be, so just have Selim try to bait and switch with you, find a kill, earn that streak. Over 30 seconds left, we're just busting out shots through the courtyard. Draza doesn't find the kill, and now Selim, yeah, you're simply going to run out of ammo. LA Thieves secure the defense.
Yep. Good response there from Thieves. And I was actually kind of curious to see that the RC was called there, of all things. I mean, obviously, we've seen the chain reaction effect that it has over towards the defensive side at A, but just as a way to kind of essentially check if LA are playing at the front doors of Arches, feels like that would have been maybe well served by just throwing a stun first, but it gets called. It doesn't really find much effectiveness, and LA get on the board.
Yeah, thankfully the stun is able to connect onto the player in the side room. So Scrap has the advantage in that first opening duel. Secures the first team and then backs out, keeps the numbers on their side. Able to shut down a slow approach from Atlanta FaZe, but now they go back on defense where they have given up this A site every single round. They are allowing you to plant this bomb, and they're playing for that retake.
And the thing about it is, like, Thieves are sitting here like, we really don't want to plant, not until some nades start to come over the top. But now the defense may have a chance to contest you from even planting in the first place. We'll see if patience pans out. Opening trades come through. 3v3. And Scrap and the rest of the team are essentially just going to default to waiting to see if Hydra can find timing.
He got spotted. Yeah, Selim was able to spot him on the cross. You set up that pitch to find that kill. Now Simp has the last one weak, and Selim able to be the closer on the round. Atlanta again just prepared for that retake over at the A site. This time the bomb doesn't get planted. They strike for the first blood, instantly responded, making it a 3v3, but then they just catch Hydra trying to make an individual play, setting up the pinch to the middle of the map. Selim playing safe in the back of his spawn, spots him, gives the comm to his teammates. They find that kill, keep the numbers on their side, and effective on the trades allows them to be the last man standing. Atlanta FaZe, I don't know what it is. Like, whenever they play against LA, they're just a whole different roster. It's like matchups are such a big thing, and they know that when they play this squad, they got to be on their best stuff, and they're showing it so far.
Well, the other thing about this, and I imagine Ant's going to want to talk about this in the desk, is like, if Atlanta's defense can continue to play this 3-1 split and just trust that nades can stop any play towards A early, I just don't know how you beat that outside of staggering trophy systems if you're LA. We'll see. They're going to get one more chance at least on playing the offensive round, as Atlanta looking to just double up over through mid. Good first from Envoy. That's fine. 3v3, and Thieves are going to move through the map and take the pinch point.
Yeah, they're getting super aggressive on the pinch, so it's on Scrap to individually hold over towards this B site, get one, and try to get out with your life. He's able to do that at least for now. Simp is still trying to locate where he is. Thankfully, Draza finds him. 2v2, but Draza might get isolated.
Yeah, that's a really good heads-up play there from Thieves on that long pinch. Now, they will have lost Simp in the process. Ghosty's seen him, though. And Simp says, well, if Ghosty's here, I'm sure Hydra's also nearby as well. Looking to see if he can catch someone on the cross. And then maybe could just rewrap this back to B. Yeah, he's looking to see if anyone's going to rotate back through the main dealership over towards A. Not the case, and the timing is going to work out for him to get a post plant.
Yeah, but it all depends on how fast he's going to decide to put this bomb down, because already the Thieves are on their way back over towards the B side. Hydra turns the corner at the right time. And LA able to secure their second round of the map. They find the first blood through the middle. They make it instantly a 3v3. And then it's all on Scrap. Just individually over here at the B site in the courtyard. Wins the one-on-one. is almost able to get out with his life, but at least stalls time for his teammates to get back into the play. So they kept the numbers on their side, able to tally their second round, but now they go on the offense where they just haven't been able to figure it out on their A pushes.
Yeah, and if they continue, okay, they're not going to go that way this time. Trophy system is really safe deep. They play a bit of an island, I suppose. I mean, that trophy is not going to touch any defensive nades from FaZe. Envoy's going to show force by trying to make a play up towards and through A. And this is the right idea. You know, it's the same nades coming through, at least initially for FaZe, but they're not hard rotating this time. I don't know if they caught intel that LA are showing presence at B or not, but this is not the same rotation from Atlanta. They're sticking to their guns here at B.
But that nade connecting onto Envoy, now you start to move around if you are Atlanta. Knowing that the play is going to be over towards this A side. A lot of nades already invested. Envoy and Hydra and Ghosty watching over them. On a setup after this post plant. How do Atlanta decide to approach it?
And this may have been just enough finagling for Thieves' offense to give them a chance. RC makes its way through the site. Envoy still touching the corner, but does get dealt with. AR's lighting things up for Thieves, and there's Hydra to finish off Draza for what will likely be the last kill needed, as Simp just does not have a chance to get back in. Okay, much better there for Thieves, trying to just, again, work out that FaZe defense. Don't allow them to get the easy prediction.
Yeah, just a slow approach. Taking your time on your placing towards A. Envoy taking space. Nades are getting invested. You're counting them. Make sure no one is going to be impacted by it. But just a 2-2 split. This time, the first blood still goes in favor of Atlanta, but the ARs were in the proper spots to find trades. Able to secure the round there. Finally, an attacking round for LA. 2 runs in a row now. Put us into the swing round.
Critical one here for Thieves, and they are going to continue to play this battle over to the middle of the map. Avizi's the one responsible for it. He sees one slide through come out, and he's in trouble. Puts himself into a corner. You can see Atlanta not committing onto A. They have to play for trades they can, but as things come to a bit of a pause, now Atlanta can get their focus on trying to get this bomb planted.
Yeah, they're just waiting for the nades to get invested, though. And do Thieves time this perfectly to slide out and potentially child the site, because you can find the opening first blood, but bomb does get planted.
Yep, Simp will fall immediately after planting, though. Draza sliding forward. Good read from Envoy. Help from Ghosty's also right there to service it. And that is a perfect retake from Thieves. A flawless round, and we're tied at 4.
Yeah, just way too clean right there from the Thieves. Like Atlanta, they're thinking, okay, I can just get this bomb down. Once we get the bomb planted, then we can start to reposition ourselves. But as soon as that bomb gets planted, Simp instantly falls, and then Draza is forced to try to make up in the numbers situation. It's just every single player from the Thieves was retaking from their spawn. No one working on pinches. They knew that they had the numbers once they initially strike for that first kill. And the AR is able to pepper a couple people down. Make them weak for the SMGs. And a beautiful retake there from the Thieves. Ties the game.
And you can see Thieves energetically calming what they want to do this next attack. Again, they had the response in the last offense to what Atlanta has been throwing at them every single round, which is a 3-1 split off. They're not going to get the same thing here, though. Atlanta looking to get aggressive in through mid. Stuns and nades are going to be cooked up, though, for LA, and they're going to get a read that this is different from Atlanta. Just stay alive here, I would say, is the biggest part, but Scrap cannot get away. Bomb still getting planted, though, over at A in this 3v4. Just comes down to, can Envoy stay alive when he gets the exit? And yes, he will.
Yeah, he's just going to try to get on out. But now, if you're Atlanta, everyone just rallied together. You used to have a BZ accounting for anyone trying to make an individual play on the deep pinch. It's already been 15 seconds down.
Yeah, stuns and nades are starting to reveal what this post plan is. Atlanta, yeah, just running through. Take care of Envoy. Ghosty should be traded. It is. Last one to find is Hydra, and he cannot stay tucked in the corner. Atlanta take the edge. 5-4 as we head to round 10.
10. That's a big shout out to Abizi, man, the king of first bloods. Was able to find that first massive kill onto Scrap through the middle of the map. And then once you find that opening duel, you realize bomb goes down at A. We have a 4v3. No one pushes to our spawn. They have to be camping on their side. So let's just flood with our numbers. Execute these trades. And it works out there for Atlanta to be at game point now.
Thieves have shown a lot of defensive pressure through mid in the last couple of attempts. And they're going to keep that up. Avizi in the corner. Getting one would be fine here. Simp able to help out for the first. Trades looking decent. Plus you had Cell over the top. It's just a battleground here at mid office. Ghosty now the last one left. Got both weapons to play with, and he is chasing shadows in this 1v3.
Yeah, bomb isn't even getting planted yet. Now it is, and Ghosty found the perfect angle there. Not even gonna get weak in the gunfight off the trade, so on a 2v1. You know that the play's still developing at B, but Atlanta FaZe are more focused on just not getting caught off guard. We need both guns to be up for this gunfight.
Yeah, they've gotten the bomb back, which is most important. Ghosty does get the visual check. Should know the bomb's been picked up. Atlanta may be showing a bit of a head fake, though, as they will come back over towards the B site once again. Ghosty will have a chance here. Here's a secondary check. He's going to get it now to the 1v1. It's him versus Cell. Ghosty out the door. 27 seconds. Cell looking to play for the angle just to try to get the gunfight win. Shoulders coming out for Ghosty. Down to a single bullet worth of health. That's enough for Cell to grab the bomb, but he's still looking to play for the kill. Now it's just down to who wins the gunfight up close, but it's Cell. Of course it is. The 1v1 comes his way. Ghosty in near 1v3. Not able to finish off the last couple of shots. And now Atlanta find themselves 2-0 up on the defending champs from the last major.
And Celium just keeps on letting Big Al know on the desk. Ghosty over me? Yeah, nice try. Celium stops the 1v3 from happening, and I absolutely love the way that he played that. Once you have him initially weak, usually the go-to is for the player on the objective side is just instantly get the bomb down, because you know that gunfight isn't going to immediately happen, but it was only certain angles that Ghosty could attack towards that B site. Preferably, you want to be from that top window because you can count it and you can instantly hit the rotation over towards A if he's not in that position. But Celium said, screw this running around, throwing shoulders. I'm just going to send it. And I also had an SMG with me in my back pocket to make the gunfight easier. MC, the closer, on the search and destroy. But Atlanta FaZe's recipe for success, those defensive rounds early on were absolute perfection before LA started making adjustments. Just the adjustments came in too late, and Atlanta now up 2-0.
Yeah, I really have to give a lot of credit to what Atlanta's defense looked like in that opening 3-1 split off. Lots of good stuff in terms of how they wanted to play retake, and more importantly, when they do change it up, how they can actually still contest the bomb plant itself. So great stuff from Atlanta. 2-0 up as we head back to the desk to give us their thoughts.
Thank you very much. Now, while both of the ARs put up over 3,000 damage in game one of them finished with 17 kills, the other with 39. Is that what we saw?
39 and 17, yeah.
39 and 17. So you said Dan Ghosty over Celium, and then Celium just won the 1v1 against Dan Ghosty to win game two. Allie, we're at the halfway part of the show. Do you want to switch your answer?
No, you guys know me. I'm a 10 toes down. But when you go to this map number 2, I just simply love the adjustments Atlanta FaZe have made on this map in general. They're 1 and 2 on dealership S&D coming into this, and they kind of learned to play the map more aggressive, take more space, and then working on the retakes, completely giving up the A bomb site and saving their tax. I mean, nobody but Atlanta FaZe, I think we could see pull that off. So big ups to Atlanta FaZe for adding dealership to their map pool.
And it was 4-1 for Atlanta to open things up, but LA did claw back later in this game. Yeah. What happened on dealership?
Yeah, I mean, it could be kind of a blind counter map. For LA Thieves, this is a map that they've liked. Atlanta, I think it was really just the retakes, right? Like for LA Thieves, they kept trying to get it down at A, and every single time, you're losing that round. They had a huge opportunity here in this clutch. So like Ghosty found 2 off the bomb, and then he's in a situation where he's thinking Celium might plant right there. You just kind of got to know your opponent and be like, yeah, all right, MC is not planting. You just killed 2 people on bomb. But yeah, for them, they're down 0-2, find themselves in a tough position, and this is why I pick Atlanta, man. When they go up against this team, they just ascend to another level, and you could see the matchup.
Let's take a look at the numbers. Multiple titles are listed here. MW2, MW3, Black Ops 6. Overall, you can see Scrap 7 and 5 in the series versus Draza. But here in 2025, it is a 3-1 score in favor of Draza and Atlanta FaZe. Might be 4-1 if they get one more game here.
At least, do you want to count it a 2-1 score or a 3-1 score as wins on the year, too? So Draza's definitely got the edge.
Let's take a look, though, at one of the big plays from this series. We have Nameless with our quick scope breaking down something special. What is it for me this time?
Yeah, you keep hearing retake.
What's that mean?
So let's talk about what Atlanta FaZe is doing on the retake here and why they do it, right? So this is like how you can transition from bomb to bomb really quick here. The reason that they're playing off of B off the rip is because it's a more difficult retake, right? Like you can make plays you just saw Ghosty killing people off bomb back to back, right? So you don't want to deal with that window. So we're trying to stop it early if we can. So you got Draza Draza, he's looking at mid window. You got somebody behind him playing a trade. You got another player who's playing for the push through if they're trying to slide around the right side over towards B. And this is MC. He's the most important player, or Celium, he's the most important player in this setup and in this transition because he's just going to be lurking back spawn. And his job right now is to make sure nobody pushes through. And then when we eventually wrap back to retake, he's going to be playing for anybody trying to sneak through mid and go through side door, right? So he's just gathering information the entire time. And the reason that they're playing for a retake on A specifically is all these gunfights when you get back to A, they're advantageous. Like if you get here, you have a heady where you can kill the guy over here. You have a ton of cars that you can play around, and the nades that you can use to kind of push them back. You can pigeonhole them and know exactly where they're at. So I'll talk you through it as we watch it. All right, so at this point, we know nobody's at B. We're gonna start to get our attacks out, try to blow up some cars. We get some damage down if you're Celium. And now at this point, I'm trying to get some shots down to make the retake easier for my SMGs. Now my SMGs get close. You can see the advantage I'm talking about. He can find the first kill, and now Simp can apply that pressure down the street. And in this situation, after MC does that, he wraps back to get the information on the guy coming through mid, where they completely just trap that guy to give themselves even more of an advantage. So that's why they decide to play for B and then the retake on A. It's just easier around the site.
Yeah, incredible breakdown from the side of Atlanta FaZe. The retakes were incredible throughout the entirety of this map. LA Thieves started to make some adjustments. They just came in a little bit too late, right? Like there was so many opportunities for them on the A bomb site where Hydra or Envoy had the space to push up, but they just didn't take advantage of it. And of course, hindsight of us seeing the mini.
We just don't want to. I wouldn't want to fight Celium back there. So
that's true.
I'm just going mid.
Let's take a look at our first map of the day here between Atlanta FaZe and LA Thieves because MacArthur is on one, and he's done this consistently. Last time against LA Thieves was December 8th. He dropped 38 and 29. He's like, you know what? Let me one-up myself and then drop about 11 deaths.
Yeah, I asked for this from Easy Mac. He's here. Shout out Easy Mac. He's in the production right now, here for a weekend.
Legend.
And because I remember last time they played, it was like back against the wall. Atlanta FaZe potentially going to lose, and MC's like, I'm just calling game. So Rewind being added back in is going to help Atlanta going forward because Celium might be the best Rewind player in the game. In hardpoint. Yeah, what do you mean what? You see that?
The best?
He's unbelievable on that map.
He's the best on all the maps, if you ask me and my friend Studdy, right, Stud?
I didn't even hear what you said.
Is Celium the best player in the game right now? If not, who is?
Yes, no, without question, he's the best player in the game.
Thank you.
As consistent as he is on every single map, even in Search and Destroy, his clutch ability, you even see it in Search and Destroy. The guy's the hardest kill in the CDL history the last like 5-6 years, ever since he's entered the league. He's without question the best player in my mind, or up there with the best of them.
Yeah, it's top 2 probably at worst, right? Feels that way.
Might be sitting right next to the guy right next to him. Chris Lair might be the guy best in the game.
I was going to say the same thing. Odd to say, considering that Atlanta bowed out early in the most recent major, but after some hardpoint troubles, they were able to clean that up on the Rewind hardpoint, 251-37, and now we go to a protocol control. This has been LA Thieves' dominance from start to finish, but Atlanta has played this map a handful of times. The interesting thing about it, though, when we have seen these two teams play on this map mode combination, it has been LA who has won it both times. So we'll see if they can use that again as a opportunity to kind of get themselves not just back in the series, but get some momentum to try to get this thing to 5.
Yeah, LA Thieves always look for the bounce back here at Control. They only have 6 losses on the entire season. Since now you're going up against the best team on Protocol as well. So Atlanta are going to be prepared for everything that you throw at them. You find effective trades through the middle map. Still not a single segment earned. You're just wasting your time just working out of your spawn.
Yeah, it's just the ARs again showing up in the kill feed for Atlanta when it matters most. Envoy able to at least isolate onto 1. Information to Simp is going to be there, but wow, Simp gets 2 before dropping. That is just another moment where you look at him and say, that's just a difference maker. Draws it from the opposite windows, able to find another kill, and that's enough for Atlanta to keep the spawn pressure on.
Yeah, they have players in their spawn. Now it's Hydra trying to make up for those numbers by roaming behind enemy lines. Finds one and is able to get out of dodge. The movement, there's no way in hell you're able to keep track of that. But still, none of his teammates are finding success off of the respawn. They are in hell with only 30 seconds left. Don't have a single segment to their name.
Well, and the interesting thing about this for FaZe is that they've gotten spawn pressure, but they're not trying to like get full spawn kills. They're just trying to manipulate the map in a way that forces them to have to go to A, and then you can just repinch it from windows. So it's a different look in terms of getting forward at 10. And now that they've got the left side of the map, the bottom side of the map kind of taken over, now you just funnel everything over to Draz's direction over at B. It's just a different way of kind of trying to play this spawn trap where you're not just trying to get kills as soon as they jump off spawn, but you're trying to force them to go to a zone that is that you're choosing, and then you're behind them the whole time.
Yeah, but now with the final 6 seconds, these are able to finally manage the kills in their base. First segment is already going to be guaranteed, and now they have a 3-stack going. Second segment is going to be locked as well. But Atlanta FaZe, they find the initial gunfights. They're not going to give this up for free. If you're going to want this third segment, you got to gun me down.
Yeah, Draza, no, not going to allow that to happen, at least not initially. 2 kills come through. Hydra just staying safe over mid, but Draza finds a third, and then the follow-up is there from Cell. It looked like there was going to be a chance there that LA get the third tick, get the extra 60, and then we're talking about a new game. But the long play from Simp, followed up by just Draza staying alive for way longer than you expect on the zone itself, has Atlanta winning the defense.
Yeah, this is the best play right here. Draza weak off of the first gunfight, knows that Ghosty is laying down. Let me just line up a couple free headshots, and then raise the pressure still coming from Heli Steps. He just loves this matchup. He absolutely loves it. It brings out the best in him. He continues to shine in this series.
I just love the way that Atlanta plays that quasi spawn trap. It's not even a full trap. It's just manipulating where exactly they want Thieves to go. And then we got your windows. Let's see what we get here on Atlanta's offense. Opening 1v1. Draza v Scrap.
Oh
Works out. Plus a follow-up onto Hydra. Doors open over onto B. Envoy up top on mid ledge is able to at least find one trade, but this first tick is gone.
Yeah, they already have a double stack going. You're just looking to make up for 2 segments here if you are Atlanta. To at least meet the criteria of what Thieves threw at you in round number 1, but Thieves with the perfect response, have all of them map control, find every single kill, and now Atlanta got to take their time off of the respawn.
BZ gets 2. Draza onto the A point. Hydra by himself. Only gets the first. And Ghosty not able to mantle on top of mid guns. That should be the first tick now at A gone. Scrap, a 1-8 start. Not having a good time in this head-to-head. Draza smokes him with an SMG. Oh boy. You think that starts to play with his mind just a little bit. Envoy trying to get something done. Catches the first, has the stun onto another, but progress still being made as a BZ on 3 in a row. Gets the trade, and that may be the extra 60 seconds as no one can touch.
Yeah, it's already tallied. And Atlanta now have a 2-life lead and a lot of map control to go with it. Now it's just about syncing up a couple kills together. Hydra finds the opening over towards P one side. Envoy on the other side finds a second. So gotta take your time if you're selling him. Just try to find a kill through top trips, but he gets flanked, gets taken care of.
Ooh, BZ gets that next one. Real chance for him to cause some problems for LA in their spawn. But trades come out and Atlanta can still get out of their own spawn cleanly. Just comes down to trying to break down this middle of the map before they approach on towards B. And you see Celium trying to get some high ground control. First 2 kills are there. Now you've got an opportunity to start to flood. You know that anyone who's still defending is either back tower or over towards field.
You know that one's in our spawn. We just got to locate where Scrap has went. And Scrap, with a slow start to this game, finds a massive double to alleviate the pressure at the B point. Now you can set up your SMGs to find a couple freebies. Envoy tucked in the corner. Give me kill number 2 on 3 in a row with a 15-9 start. Yeah, he's beaming, but 11 HP. He's instantly going to get traded, but you're up by 4 lives.
Yeah, you're up by 4 lives. That's the biggest part for sure. Scrap does get eliminated. Hydra Ghosty doing the work on the previously captured A zone. Route starting to develop here, though, for Atlanta through field, but Envoy's there to meet it. And Ghosty will just make sure no one else makes their way over towards these top windows. Should be a defensive round win here for LA, but it comes at the cost of 4 ticks of progress. So 2 ticks to the edge of Atlanta through our first 2 offenses.
And try to end out this round with a couple players potentially ending on streaks. You have Ghosty on 4 in a row. But Simp, I mean, BZ and Selim, they find 3. So they're still working on this second segment. We saw a 1v5. What about a 1v7? Oh, no chance.
Not gonna. But if he gets that second tick, that could have been critical, but not the case. So it will still be the 2 ticks to the advantage of Atlanta, but for LA, you're still at least alive. That's the biggest part about it, especially considering that, you know, you had some legs on you that last bit of your first attack where you almost got the full 60, and that could have opened up the round completely. So you're not feeling too far down and out if you're LA, I think.
Yeah, absolutely not. You were able to secure the defense, obviously tie the game up at 1, but you got 2 segments to make up for. You're the best control team in the game. You came out slow in round number 1, but you best believe that the adjustments are going to come on in. And someone needs to get Scrap a water bottle, because I'm pretty sure he took a sip of absolute air there. But Yeah, it's all working out. He's tied up in the game. 5-12 start from the young man, and he had a massive double kill to potentially start build up some momentum here because you need to be able to slay on protocol.
Yeah. See how things unfold after this break off. LA get the first couple of kills, but you see Simp on the minimap trying to play on the flank. Hydra there to meet him, and nice shots from Ghosty. These get the trophy system in play, and now you can start to get a second member on to try to stack this A point, get the quick capture.
Yeah, this should be some guaranteed segments. First one's already locked. Second one should be guaranteed. You're going to have Simp trying to work on a long route, at least through that B point. Abeezy trying to strike through bottom spiral, but none of his teammates are finding kills. So by the time you're even get into play, A might be already done and dusted unless you time it to perfection.
Yeah, well, third tick not fully completed. Abeezy's long route works out. Cell drops in to try to deplete the progress, and Simp makes sure that Hydra could do no damage over through Grandma's. And just like that, snap your fingers, and Atlanta is in the spawn trap. They fully depleted the third tick of progress, and LA have to fight for their lives again.
Yeah, if you're LA in that situation, like, we just get a little bit of stack going. Abeezy's flank route isn't really going to be impactful there, but at least you're able to stabilize in this moment. Clear out your spawn with a clean 4 dead. Third segment at A should be guaranteed unless an absolute Yobi over the top hits for Atlanta FaZe. Abeezy still here trying to contest it. Dancing. Doesn't find the second kill. LA Thieves extend the time.
Yep. And they've got a 1 life advantage. Draza trying to make sure that Grandma stays contested. Also looking for exits. Is able to find Ghosty first. They know that Scrap is playing somewhere inside, and Cell will find him. So now the lives are tied. LA is still able to create a route through bottom PCs and try to get something going over towards B, and Hydra gives him a double.
It's a big double there from Hydra. Now Selim is playing for that trade, but Hydra already has a jump on him. I thought he was going to have the advantage in that gunfight, but Selim has never caught slipping. Up by 1 life is Atlanta. Now you're just looking for 1 player to clear out your spawn. All 4 dead. Let's start to roam in their base. Selim just gets caught off guard there by Hydra.
Yeah. Draws a couple of shots, but backs away. Knows that he needs to try to keep this part of the map locked down. And as he backs up, he finds Hydra out the window. Stun over towards Ghosty's direction. Ooh, Draws not going to be able to lock down the final shots needed, but still, the spawn pressure is immense. And it's just where they draw this line of scrimmage makes it so difficult for Thieves, because it's just, again, funneling everyone to one direction or the other. Either you go to Draza on a heady, or you go to the other 3 that are waiting for you over towards field side as Abeezy takes down a handful. Draza following up, finds himself on 4 in a row, and there may be a couple of exits here for LA, but they're down to 4 lives.
Yeah, no more respawns. You make your way out at least somewhat towards the speed point, but here comes Draza on the bench. I was thinking he was going to try to take that player from behind, but just wants to take care of business while he can. 20 seconds to go. 10v2. You at least gain 3 segments here if you are the Thieves, but Hydra last man standing. He is going to fall, and Atlanta again on the defensive side. All right, but to dominate that mid-map, the AR's finding kills, the SMG's finding their Tommies through the spawn. They're up 2-1, and now you're only down by 1 second.
Yep. That's the biggest news here, especially with how convincing this defense has been. All you really need are the 2 ticks of progress to assert some advantage and possibly 3-0 LA. On the other front, though, we have seen LA's defense look solid. Just comes down to a couple of stray ticks that got captured early, honestly. That is the difference maker between these 2 at the moment.
And it's crazy to say, like, Thieves potentially are going to go down in 3. I don't think that that's happened many times this season.
No.
But just looking at, I think Toronto Ultra are the only team to do it in Major 2 tournament. It's the first time they ever fell short in a 3-0 fashion. But you know, when the Thieves are spawning on control, they always have some life. But already off to a perfect start is Atlanta FaZe. They dominate the kill feed. First segment locked. You only have 1 player on it, so Thieves are able to capitalize off of that 1 kill. But a lot of map for Atlanta to work with.
And Simp is just out here beaming across the map like that. Follow-up eliminations are good. Draza gets another edge versus Scrap, who is at 6-19. Well, scoreboard is broken, but it's not too far off. That's not too far off. I don't think it's real because Simp is 17-17, and the scoreboard reads him at 12-17.
Okay, yeah, you're right. You're right.
But regardless, it's not too far off, I don't think, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, he's getting cooked. You start lining him up if you are a Scrap. Atlanta FaZe already got their 2 segments that they were looking for, and Draza is doing whatever he wants. Yeah, you're lucky, Hydra, that he runs out of ammo there. But he alleviates the pressure to the map. Teammates soar their way back onto the A point. A should be done and dusted. Time is extended.
And here we go. Defense spotting over towards tower side of BZ. May have broken some of the timing, looking to chase down the kills. 3 life edge for Atlanta. Couple eliminations for Thieves to work, but now a BZ shutting them down and trapping a bottom side field. And I don't know where this Atlanta team has been and where they've been missing, but they've showed up today in a major way as they've got a 4 life edge and a minute 35 to work with.
Hey, sometimes it's all about who you're playing against, man. They bring out the best in you, and with this Thieves, the super team roster, Atlanta FaZe know that this squad was built to defeat us. We are still the God Squad, up by 2 lives. Envoy on the pitch, though, effective, able to find a double. Now Selim needs to try to make up some ground for it. He's always taking his time from top trips, but Envoy, can he have another massive moment off the respawn?
Good for 4 before being shut down. 3 life advantage still for FaZe, getting closer to the 60-second mark. Ghosty at mid, in some trouble. Stuns himself to safety. Has 1 player stuck in the corner, but Cell's still able to find the elimination before Draza gets dealt with by Scrap at range. 12 and 24 is where he's at. So double neg for Scrap. You don't see that all that often. And now we got a 10v5. The TDM can still be played out as the clock gets paused with the pressure on to beat.
And Scrap's not into play. Scrap now has to develop something on this pinch. Is able to at least find 1, but you don't really have lives to play with. Thankfully, he's able to find a double. The teammates now swarm their way on in. Thankfully, and also Sip finds 1, so no more respawns for LA.
Yeah, Sip's still alive for a moment there, actually. 5v3. 44 seconds on the clock. Atlanta will get all 4 members spawned up, and then they're just going to work this together. It's like a round of search and destroy. Envoy not affected by that stun through mid. Looking for timing. Wins the first. Trade is there. 4v2 situation. Ghosty at mid has to value his life. You do not want to get team worked out from this position. Shots himself are decent, but Ghosty keeps his life. Time's starting to tick now as well. Keep that in mind. 20 seconds to play.
Yeah. And if you're LA, you're just trying to get a freebie and get on out. Thankfully, Hydra on the pinch finds an opening. You can still clutch up on the round, but everyone falls, and Atlanta FaZe again get the better of the Thieves, and Draza so gassed that he dropped the camera on the floor. That's easy work. A 3-0 for Atlanta.
Too easy, I think, in a lot of ways.
For
Especially considering, again, well, for all of them, and really it's the ARs, right? It's too easy for the ARs right there. I mean, I don't know if we have the ability. I'm sure EasyMac is probably going to scramble as I say this out loud, but like, I'd be curious just to see what the overall KDs are between the AR lines, because it never really felt like Scrap and Ghosty were really giving them a workout. It just felt Atlanta was so comfortable because Draza and Cell were just winning every single opening gunfight, and the SMGs get to run through that. At 29 and 28, 22 non-traded, 26 and 16 from Cell, 24 non-traded with 16 offensive eliminations. So it's just, again, goes to show, with the ARs just dominate this head-to-head matchup.
Yeah, that was a difference in this series for sure. The opening rewind, you're winning every single rotation if you're Atlanta FaZe, and that's only going to set up your ARs to have the preferred gunfights. LA Thieves trying to climb an uphill battle, but just not doing the fundamental parts correctly. But the S&D was back and forth. Adjustments come in too late.